Hello, it's Veronica with the Crafty Oasis. Today I'm showing you how to make these Fiesta Flags. You oftentimes see them in celebration of Cinco de Mayo, maybe even for Dia De Los Muertos in Mexican culture. But you can also use these for your own home decor. If you are having a quinceañera, you can do it for a party. You can make these for cultural appreciation of Mexico. If you're studying as a homeschool family, or if you're teaching this in a traditional classroom and want to have an event around that, I think it would be a lot of fun. So we're making these in Canva today, and if you want to learn how to do that, stay tuned. Okay, once you're in Canva, you create an 11 by 8.5 inch document, and then what I'm doing is going to Elements and selecting a square, which I turn into a rectangle, and I stretch it almost to the edges of the paper, but not quite all the way. And I do that so that in case there's any printing error, the whole shape will still be on there. And then I go and I change the color. I changed it to pink. I did pink, yellow, and orange in this, but the beauty is you can do it however you'd like. Now I go to Elements and grab a half circle, and what I'm just going to do here is create this scalloped edge. And so I ended up resizing that and then changing that to pink as well. And then as you can see, I duplicated that 5 times, arranged it so it was evenly spaced, and then selected and grouped those and duplicate that. And then I rotate that 180 degrees to make it upside down for the bottom scalloped edge. Sometimes it's a little tricky. I use my generic Android tablet, and so trying to get the rotation just right is a little tricky without my mouse, and my mouse ran out of batteries today. So I just had to do it by hand. Okay, and then we will group the scalloped edges, and you select, then you click or tap on the 3 dots, and then select image and group. And now what we're going to do is make a flower design. So I love to create designs in different images from shapes. So we're going to grab that half circle again, and we're changing it to white to give the illusion of a cutout. Now, when you make this, you actually can actually cut it out if you want to. After you print it, you could send it over to the Cricut or another cutting machine if you have that. I just did white to give it that illusion. I didn't actually hand cut it out. Sometimes I do, but I didn't want to go through that today for this design. So I grabbed a circle for the center of the flower. The half circles will be the petals, and the circle will be the center. So I just duplicated the half circle 5 times, and then what I did was I arranged them around the circle, and I rotated the angle of each semicircle or half circle until I got the desired pattern that I liked. Okay, once I finally have the angles for all the petals, I select one of the petals, tap or click the 3 dots, select multiple, and then make sure that I get all the petals as well as the center, and then group those. Then once they're grouped, I duplicate them and resize them so that I can put them in the center of each scallop on the top and the bottom. So I end up duplicating them 10 times for the small ones. Now that we have all of the flowers duplicated and centered, we duplicate the page and delete the flowers. And now I'm going to make a kind of a sunburst or geometric pattern. So I grab a circle by the same way, going to the elements, selecting circle, I change the color to white, then I go to elements again and grab a triangle, change that to white as well. And then you don't see, but I duplicate the triangle 3 times and I move the circle into the center. And then after that, we will tap the 3 dots, or select one of the triangles, tap the 3 dots, select all the triangles in the circle and group them together. Now I'm just going to resize that, center it, and then duplicate it from my design. So I end up having 3 of these big geometric shapes going across the center, and then I will duplicate it for the scallops as well, just like I did for the flowers. For this last page of my design, I duplicate the yellow page just like I did the pink, and then I change the color to orange, and now I'm making a kind of guitar shape. So I go back to elements, I choose circle, but I stretch it out into more of an oval shape, and then I duplicate that. After I duplicate the ovals, I will change the color to white, and then I'm going to select both ovals and then grouping them like I have the other elements, and then I resize that because now I'm going to create the handle. I create the handle by going to elements, selecting square, and turning it into a rectangle. Then I just resize it and position it in the center so it looks like a guitar handle. Okay, after reshaping the guitar and then changing it all to white, now I'm going to work on the little tuning knobs. I only add 1 because it ends up being a very small design. When you're designing, you design big and then you think about the fact that you're shrinking it down. So I just make that a really small rectangle that goes horizontally across the top. Now that we've got that positioned, we go to elements and grab a circle. I size it down so that it can go on either side of the rectangle that we placed horizontally for the tuning knobs. And then we change the color of the rectangle and the circles. We duplicate the circle. Then you can change the color and then group everything all together so that it's the guitar shape. Now that we have the guitar shape duplicated across the center like we like, I'm actually going to add a music note for the smaller ones that go on the scalloped edge. So I go to elements, type in music note, and I just choose one that I like. I do have Canva Pro. If you see a crown, then that means that that element is only available if you have Canva Pro. So if you don't, you can try to create these. The shapes, I believe, are included in the basic plan or the free plan, and then you can try to find some music notes that are free. If you can't, what you could do is screenshot a music note and remove the background not in Canva because that's also included in Canva Pro, and then just upload it as an image. So I chose to do the music notes, and I duplicated that across in the bottom the same way that I did for all of the other elements for the scalloped edges on the pink and the yellow flags. Once we have our last flag completed, I actually also added a banner. So I'm going to text, adding a heading, and I'm typing in Cinco de Mayo, which is why I made this today. But as I stated in the beginning of the video, you can actually use this for Cinco de Mayo, you can use it for Dia De Los Muertos, you can use it for quinceañeras, birthday parties. If you just want to celebrate on a Taco Tuesday, you can do whatever you'd like. So I changed it to a bold font, which is Rubik 1, and then you will see that I enlarge it to the size that I want. So what I'm trying to do is have 3 fit across, 3 rows of text, and that way I know I can print them all on one page, because ultimately I'm putting these on my mantle, and that also affects the sizing for me. So that's, again, something that you can tailor. If you need each letter to be the size of the sheet and just do 1 letter per page, you can do that. It's entirely up to you. Once you type the letter and change the colors of the letters if you want to, your banner and Fiesta flags are done. And thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you made these and how they turned out. Take care. Bye.